What's up there, everybody out there? YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Welcome back to Philly Sports and all things bueno. Because as I say, Philly Sports, WWE, and sports in general is muy bueno. I am your host, AP, El Jefe of Sports. Let's get it going on this rainy day. I know it's raining out there, but we all woke up, so that's something to stay positive about. Welcome to my NXT review. This is the first NXT after TakeOver, after the WrestleMania TakeOver, live from Orlando. So, guys, NXT opens up with the recap of TakeOver, showing the matches and everything that happened, showing clips. If you didn't check out TakeOver, go to WWE Network and check it out. It's a really good brand. They say it's developmental, but the wrestlers in there, a lot of them are more than capable of making a jump to the main roster right now, tomorrow, if they need be. So we're going to get into the NXT after TakeOver in Orlando. It wasn't, what it should have been. And NXT normally isn't like this in the build up to a pay-per-view or a live event. We got some live events coming up in May, so hopefully it'll pick up steam coming into the month of April towards the beginning of May to show some new storylines and maybe get some excitement going on. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Again, please comment, let me know what you think. NXT opens up with Peyton Royce and Aaliyah. Billy Kay and Peyton Royce, they are showing shades of Lay Cool with the pretty female bullies, taunting, looking at each other type of thing. I think Lay Cool did it better. And for those who don't know, that's Michelle McCool and Layla, who has since retired, former Divas champions. Now, the action was pretty much one-sided. Peyton Royce pretty much dominated this, showed some nice holds, got a few cheers from the crowd. Crowd didn't have too much life into this one. Like I said, the show didn't have the big stars on this one, so the crowd wasn't too into it, but still some good back and forth wrestling match. Peyton Royce wins with the perfect plex, pretty easy fashion. They celebrate, they do what they do, the "oh, I love you," the little girly thing. It was an okay match. It was good to start it off, something to do. So then it goes into the Asuka Ember Moon recap, and then it shows the match. And like I said, if you haven't seen the match, go check it out. It was a really good match, really good back and forth between the two ladies, and a really good match. As I said before, didn't end the way I wanted it to, but still a pretty good match. This is definitely not over. We're definitely going to see some more. But then they show Asuka's comments backstage and TakeOver, and she basically says, when they ask her how does she feel about the victory, and she looks and just says, "I'm the champion," and shows that evil smile. I love Asuka's evil smile. This is a perfect setup for her to be a heel. I understand she is a fan favorite, but heels can be fan favorites. Look at Samoa Joe, look at Kevin Owens. So, they can definitely be fan favorites, but I think she's going to be an awesome heel, especially when she makes her main roster debut. I think that she probably should not drop the belt when she makes her main roster debut. I think it should be, along the lines of what they did with Paige, retires from NXT, the women's champion, and then just keep going from there. Just build off this momentum that they have going on with Asuka. I would like to see the strap on Ember Moon, but, let's have them do it in the tournament. There's no need for Asuka to take a loss with the momentum she's got going on. So, we go into a tag team match with Heavy Machinery versus the Bollywood Boys. The Bollywood Boys are basically jobbers. Heavy Machinery is a new tag team that's up and coming. It was a lot of sloppy ring work in this one, but this is why NXT is a developmental territory, because what they want to do is they want to look at these people on TV when they get them in front of the cameras, and not just the performers, the referees, the cameramen, the announcers. Triple H talked about this on Stone Cold's podcast. We have to look to start replacing everybody, so this is really just a development for it. So you will see my ratings are a little bit harsh compared to the main rosters. But this is why I keep my rating strictly to NXT titles. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Heavy Machinery comes out versus the Bollywood Boys. Pretty much a squash match. Bollywood Boys got a little bit of a little bit of retaliation going on, but Heavy Machinery shut it down, and then, dominant through the whole match. They end the match with some pancake type move where the one guy picks him up and then the other guy like pushes him in the back and pushes him down to the ground. It's actually a pretty cool move. I would love to see that. Maybe if they actually go up, maybe put them up against the Authors of Pain. Speaking of the Authors of Pain, after that match, by the way, Heavy Machinery gets the win. After that match, they show the recap of the triple threat match between the Authors of Pain, the Revival, and DIY. So Authors of Pain won that match. If you haven't checked out TakeOver, that was a great match. Check it out, WWE Network. Check it out. It's a really good match. Authors of Pain with Paul Ellering. And if you don't know who Paul Ellering is, he managed one of the greatest tag teams, the Road Warriors. Oh, what a rush! So, the way he's their mouthpiece, they don't need to speak. They just need to come in, dominate, beat people up. I'm pretty sure they will speak eventually. That's something they'll probably work on in NXT, but we'll see what goes on with that. But, Paul Ellering says how, everybody's against the Authors of Pain. They stacked the deck against them, and they still won, and they will not be stopped. You are looking at the next dynasty there. I love Paul Ellering teaming with this team. It's just like a new version of the Road Warriors. There will never be another Hawk and Animal, but it's something really good. And if you haven't checked out the Authors of Pain, look at their dominance and look at the carnage that they leave in the ring. It's pretty awesome. So from there, we go to a recap of Bobby Roode and Shinsuke Nakamura. We all know Nakamura is no longer in NXT. He made his debut in SmackDown the other day. But they're talking about, Bobby Roode saying that this is his NXT. Then it goes to Nakamura's curtain call, followed by a vignette of Nakamura's time in NXT. He's a great wrestler. For those who have not seen him wrestle, go to WWE Network. Check it out. He is an awesome performer. Go to YouTube. Look at some of his videos from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Really good performer. I can't wait to see him really perform. But then they showed an interview with Bobby Roode after the match, like they did with Authors of Pain, like they did with Asuka. He said, I told you this is what I was going to do. Typical heel fashion. And even though they have the same names, they are spelled different, but Bobby Roode reminds me so much of Rick Rude. Just, I'm the best out there. Nobody's better than me, and I'll back it up. The only thing is, he's not, I'll come and take your woman type deal. But like the whole demeanor, their delivery, and just their attitude, it just reminds me of the same. And as you know, Rick Rude is my second favorite heel of all time, behind the late great Macho Man Randy Savage. But anyway, Rude continues in cocky heel fashion. He talks about how NXT has improved since he's been there, and in the next coming weeks, in the next coming months, it's just so more domination. I can't wait to see it because Bobby Roode is glorious. You heard the music in the beginning, so this guy's going to really take NXT by storm. I can kind of wait for his main roster debut because the main roster is so stacked right now. I really don't see any room for him. Keep him down in NXT. Keep building that brand. Keep letting the WWE universe know about him. Yes, people who watch TNA, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Ring of Honor know who this man is, but a lot of people who only watch WWE exclusively is only learning about the Glorious One. So going in after Bobby Roode's interview, they talked to Drew McIntyre, who you guys knew as I forget his name in WWE the first time. He wasn't that good. But Drew McIntyre signs with WWE. McIntyre talked about his accomplishments that he's accomplished since he left the WWE, and they asked why is he coming back to NXT. He said that he is coming to NXT because NXT is the future, and he is going to show that he is the future. He has won titles all around the world. He is coming for the NXT title. So I see, like I said, there are 2 live events. There's one in Chicago in May. There's one in, I think, Tennessee in May. So we could see either one of those live events have Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Roode for the NXT title. That is a match that I would definitely want to see. That is definitely a match I would pay to see. I think it's going to be awesome. So I can't wait to see the build-up going into that. Drew McIntyre makes his debut next week on NXT, so make sure you check it out on WWE Network. So the final one we have Oney Lorcan versus a mystery opponent. And, Oney Lorcan comes out. He waits for the mystery opponent. And you see El Vagabundo, who is basically just the Drifter. And for those of you who follow NXT, the Drifter lost a match either a week or two ago in NXT where he had to leave NXT. So it's basically the Drifter in a Rey Mysterio mask, comes out with a guitar, plays a song insulting the crowd. I really like the way that the back and forth was going. Lorcan comes out and says, I know who you are. I know you're the Drifter. He says, I'm not the Drifter. I'm El Vagabundo. This is a good way to build the storyline. I don't know where they're going with it, but as you guys know, wrestling is storyline, so it's a good way to build the storyline. Lorcan destroys him, smashes him, crushes him, whatever the case may be, and that's the end of the show. Not a lot I was expecting out of this show. This is the first show after TakeOver. For those who don't know, NXT is taped in advance, sometimes weeks in advance. So some of you guys already know what's happening. You guys already know what's going to go on. But next week we will see the debut of Drew McIntyre. We will probably see Bobby Roode come back out. We will probably see more from the Authors of Pain. We will probably see more from Asuka and Ember Moon. So I can't wait to see what happens with that. Like I said, this was something that they just threw together. So I'm sorry, I can't give you guys a really high belt rating. I will give it 2.5 out of 5 Sami Zayn NXT titles. That's 2.5 Sami Zayn NXT world titles. It was a show that did keep my interest. But with it only being an hour, I thought it could have been a little bit better produced. But like I said, it is developmental territory. They are developing everything that's going on with NXT. So more than likely, we'll probably have a better show. Guys, let me know what you guys thought of TakeOver. Let me know what you guys think of my video blog. Share your opinions with me. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at AP_EL_JEFE. Until then, I'm done with WWE for the week. Join me tomorrow. I will be recapping the week in Philly sports. We'll be talking about Phillies and their opening series against the Reds. We'll be talking about the Eagles and the moves they were making as they prepare for the draft. We'll be talking about the Sixers and the Flyers as they go to close out the seasons. And then we'll also talk about the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs. So please join me with that. I will talk to you guys when I talk to you. Say hi to the wife. If anything, remember, guys, be positive. Just because it's cloudy out today does not mean the sun will not shine tomorrow. Be positive, and all things positive will happen to you. Until then, be safe.